What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Vincent. Today we're going to discuss about 3 of the best important tips, at least in my experience and in my friends' experience, when we're transferring from FIC to SFU, or even other colleges to SFU, or maybe even any colleges into any universities. I hope that these can be beneficial for you no matter what, but make sure that you stay until the end, because for tips number 3, it may be your break or make point if you're not careful with this one. So the first tip that I have for you is that if you haven't yet, make sure that you start to take a look about what opportunities there are in SFU, any clubs, any events, networking, anything that you may be able to join or may be able to participate in, because this is really important in ensuring that you understand what they offer and you know how you can take advantage of that. Now, if you're not aware yet, this is really important because at FIC, it is normal for us that we're still in colleges, right? It's not like an official uni yet. So it's normal for us to make sure that we get a good grades, we study, make sure we able to pass that barrier from college to the official university, right? As example for myself, when I was in FIC, I need a GPA of 3.2 in order to transfer to SFU BD. So all I do for the year is make sure that I do get at least that grade, because if not, obviously I cannot transfer and I have to spend more time there, spend more money, and have to redo all the classes. Well, not all the classes, but you know, if you get a lot of C's and you don't get that 3.2, in the end, once you run out of courses, you're gonna have to take them anyway or take other courses, but yeah, just to get that 3.2. Yeah. And that's fine if you're transferring to SFU at this moment when you watch, or you just transfer. Maybe you may experience the same. You may study a lot when you're back in FIC, and now once you're in SFU, you're thinking about, oh, I don't need to study that hard anymore. Or maybe you're starting your college, you're just getting into FIC or any colleges. You may be thinking that, oh, I need to study so hard, because if not, I cannot transfer to the university that I want because the GPA won't be enough. Now, that is all good and well, but it is really important to note that when you transfer to SFU or to the university, you want to make sure that you start to look at all of these opportunities that I mentioned, because these are the times that does make a lot of difference. And those experiences definitely helped me a lot to get me where I am today. But if you haven't yet, it's fine if you're already at SFU right now and you feel like, oh, you didn't do anything bad at FIC or your previous colleges, and now you feel like it's time for you to take more things besides academically. Either way, it doesn't really matter. If the moment right now, if you already have taken a lot, then good for you. But if you haven't, make sure you start to look for all of these opportunities, because once we get into university, this is basically the last barrier, the last level before we officially graduate and maybe do our jobs, get to businesses, and all of these things, right? And we want to make it count. So you have to start to think a little bit long term, see what jobs you might want to do, what career you want to do, what businesses you want to start, what freelance gigs you want to take. And for jobs and career, maybe there are specific companies that you want to work with, maybe like the Big Four, or maybe a lot more smaller startups, because you like that more inclusive, not really inclusive, but like more, you know, just a smaller environment, because you know the people better. But you have to start to think about this right now, because that means that you can start to plan on how you can build your skills, because in the end of the day, once you thought about all of this, you can slowly reverse engineer and you can see what skills you need, what should you do, what should you take, and then it definitely helps you a lot in your journey. For SFU specifically, definitely keep posted on like my experience on your email. They send out a lot of events, a lot of informations, ask alumni, ask a lot of people there. But you do have to take initiative to find out all of these opportunities. If there's any events that you might be interested, just join. You see what's up, say hey to the people over there, join the events, join whatever they offer. See if there's any certificates that you can take inside and outside SFU from, maybe you know it from the professor. See if there's any events online or in person that maybe you can come. Maybe it's from the company that you want to work with, because that's definitely very beneficial for networking. But even if not, it's good to expand your network and get to know more people in your industry. And of course, if you're already able, and I'm sure you are, apply to co-op jobs courses, because in SFU we have to get that one term worth of courses first. Obviously, we do all the cover letter resume stuff before we can apply to co-op. So if you do want to take co-op, make sure that you do that early so you have more time to seek, you have more time to practice your interviews, polish your resume, get more experience, and in the end of the day, you don't have to rush all of these things. Tips number 2, which is kind of an extension from the number 1, or perhaps more towards why the number 1 exists, is that you need to start on working on a more transferable skills and unique skills. These are the skills and traits that you can put it in your resume, put it in your portfolio, put it in your cover letter, or even as a story in their interviews that can give you a competitive edge and competitive advantage, basically, which can make you stand out and give you better chances to land you a better job, land you maybe that company that you really wanted, or maybe on the business side to make sure that you understand the business well, you have the soft skills, you have all of these things that you can apply. This is because in Canada and most of the world, I'm sure, but especially in Canada, these kind of transferable skills and unique skills are extremely important, and the employer or anyone basically value this a lot. Even if you want to join a volunteer, you want to join a clubs, if you could do this at least basic things, they will see this as a better potential compared to if you never do it. But obviously, if you're joining a club or a volunteer, there will be lower barrier of entry. So even if you have no experience, obviously, like the chicken and egg, right? We need a job to get experience, but we need experience to get a job. This is why we do the volunteers, the clubs, and all of this free internship and all of these projects, right? To get all of this experience, get these transferable skills, which will be beneficial for your future co-op, intern, or even business and job. Now, I mentioned this a little bit already, but to get these skills, usually you do have to do some sort of volunteering, clubs, or maybe minimum wage job, which is typical for college student. Maybe you can be a cashier or maybe be server anywhere. So find this kind of like minimum wage job, like a basic simple job, or even like as I mentioned before, you can join clubs, or even like the one I joined, like marketing specialist, which is extremely beneficial because it's direct skill that you can apply, and a lot of different things. Obviously, in volunteering, maybe you join whatever volunteers that you think is beneficial and contributes to what you want. Feel like to make this point a little bit different than if everyone says that, oh yeah, just get a job, get something, because if everyone gets a job, everyone gets the basic experience, then they're all the same, no one stands out, right? So one advice that I would like to share, pick something that's a little bit exclusive, like the marketing specialist that I have. That's not for everyone. You do have to go through this interview process to get that, and you do work directly with clients, you work with people in another country, and all of this definitely builds your portfolio, builds your skills, which you can show the employer what you've done, and there are results. These results are the one that matters, because in the end of the day, Canada especially, people want to know that you do and you can do stuff, and these stuff actually produce results. So if you could work on somewhere that's maybe well known, or maybe you work under a person that is pretty well known, even if it's a free internship, it's unpaid internship, it's an unpaid job basically, it's fine, just take it. It's for the experience and it's worth more than the money in the short term. In the long term. Obviously in the short term you don't get any payment, but you will be amazed by how much people will respect that. And all of these skills build up, right? All of these things from your clubs, from your volunteering, everything's built up. So it will be extremely beneficial for, again, your future career. Alright, we're coming to number 3, which I mentioned earlier could be a make or break point for some of you. Is that GPA is reset when you transfer from FIC to SFU, and I'm sure when you transfer from other college to SFU as well. I'm not quite sure on this one, what about other university, but for SFU this is the case. They do reset your GPA, so your first few terms, even though it may be your second or third year, matters a lot. I'm pretty sure there's not much explanation necessary for this one, but just to make sure that you are fully aware of it, is that by resetting it means that it goes to 0. So the first term you're in SFU, even though you're in your second or third year, it's considered as first term, and your GPA will be calculated just from those grades in that term. So imagine if you get 3 A's in your first term, obviously that GPA will be extremely high compared if you get 3 C's or maybe a B and 2 C's, something like that. And when you combine it with your other courses, with your like next term, maybe let's say for example, say you get in this term, which is by the time I'm publishing this is spring 2020, and maybe you get a 3.5 GPA. And if you did well in the summer and the fall term, obviously your GPA will add up and you will get a good grades overall in the cumulated grade point average. Unfortunately, for most people, when they transfer to SFU or the university from college, they feel like, okay, I'm done, right? Because I don't need to get somewhere anymore. I'm here, so I can slack off, I can play games, I can go somewhere, I don't need to study as hard anymore. Which is problematic because remember, you still transfer your credits to SFU, just not your grades. So with the rule that I mentioned before where they reset your GPA but they still keep your credits, if you did a pretty bad job for the first few terms and then you realize, oh shoot, your GPA is pretty bad and you almost graduate, what shall I do? No matter how good your grades you make or you get in few terms before you graduate, it won't make too much of a difference. It will still, but not so much because of the heavy weight in your credits. So that imagine like all of your GPA is only 2.6 and you have like 90 credits. So even if you get all A+ in the next term, these 90 credits weigh down a lot. Because remember, even though this new GPA is only taken from this one term, you still have all of these credits. So it makes the weight for this GPA, and that means that it matters a lot. It makes a lot of difference, and you need to pay attention to this, especially if you just transfer or you're going to transfer, because this is extremely crucial. And if you don't make at least the first 2 or 3 terms count, it will be pretty devastated. So the best way to work around this is that make sure you select an easier courses that you're sure and you're confident you can handle in the first few terms, and then you can work from there. I hope you found these tips useful. If you do, make sure you hit a like and subscribe down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next Saturday.